Hey everyone, let's just jump right in. If you've been following the massive world building of Claudia Reid's television epic, you know the first 3 seasons of Queen's Village were, well, they were all about survival, right? It was this deeply reactive story, dodging disaster, scraping by, and navigating a world that was just constantly bending and fracturing around our main character. But today? Today we're looking at the breathtaking architecture of reality that makes up the final 2 seasons. Seasons 4 and 5 completely flip the script on us. We're shifting from this gritty narrative of mere survival to a grand, immense story of world-shaping consequence. We are basically looking at what happens after you supposedly win.
And I want to kick off this explainer with a seriously chilling quote from The Unknown. Endings are invitations. Just sit with that idea for a second. Imagine finally waking up in a world where you've survived your absolute greatest trial. You've fought the battles, you've won the day, and you've successfully anchored the horizon. You think you're safe, right? But that ending? It merely opened the door to something infinitely older and honestly, infinitely darker than anything you've faced before. So Claudia survived wholeness. She stabilized the terrible aftermath of those previous seasons, but as we quickly learn, wholeness is not the end of becoming. It's the beginning of responsibility. This is the core premise anchoring the entirety of Season 4. Securing the horizon wasn't the hard-fought finale we all kind of assumed it was. It was actually the catalyst for a universe-altering consequence that literally no one saw coming. The weight of wholeness. As Season 4 begins, Claudia is no longer just running from a bending world. She is carrying the absolutely crushing burden of leading a world that remembers everything. She's not being hunted by monsters in the dark anymore. She's being followed by desperate people looking for answers. And as we're going to see, the demands of true leadership, they are far, far heavier than the simple instincts of survival.
The ledger and the scribe. Now this shifting dynamic introduces a terrifying new reality. We're pivoting entirely away from those earthly, localized, physical struggles we saw in the previous seasons. Instead, we are stepping into this mind-bending, reality-altering cosmic concept that threatens the very foundation of the universe Claudia just fought so incredibly hard to save.
Our new threat here, the ledger. It isn't a monster. It's not some creature with fangs hiding out in the woods. It's a record. It's basically a giant cosmic accounting system created before the First Keeper, before the Architect, and even before the Hollow. It was meant to remain sealed forever, but Claudia's wholeness forced it open. And inside this ledger is an ancient, super patient antagonist known as the Scribe. I mean, think about how terrifying that is. An adversary who doesn't use physical force at all, but acts as a cosmic accountant who has literally judged Claudia's very existence as a mathematical mistake. He believes wholeness is fundamentally unnatural and that a keeper must break in order to keep the world balanced.
Because the ledger is open, reality actively rewrites itself. I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow and finding your own deeply held memories are suddenly shifting. Entire timelines are duplicating in real time. Geography is bending out of shape. History is being replaced right before your eyes. It's wild. The scribe is actively altering the very fabric of reality to test Claudia, placing her name in ancient texts where it never existed before, and planting memories into people's minds of futures that haven't even happened yet. It is literally psychological warfare on a cosmic scale.
And this chaos just vividly comes to life in Episode 6. On day 1, buildings and streets literally shift and contort across the neighborhood, turning completely familiar paths into alien landscapes. By day 2, a hidden chamber is physically forced open in the Reformed Church, revealing secrets that were supposed to be buried forever. And then by day 3, Maggie T's miraculously transforms into a glowing beacon. It's such a spectacular narrative device, right? It forces Claudia to physically stabilize her own neighborhood while her body and spirit are just severely straining under this immense unnatural pressure.
Rewriting the myth. As we push toward the emotional climax of Season 4, the scribe makes his ultimate, most devastating move. He attempts to completely erase Claudia from the ledger. The consequences cascade immediately into her personal life. Reality itself starts to forget her. First, David forgets her, then Lucy, then the children she literally swore to protect. The isolation Claudia experiences here is total, devastating, and honestly just entirely heartbreaking to watch. But Claudia doesn't just sit there and survive this erasure. She takes a stand. She boldly enters the ledger itself, leaving the physical world behind to confront the ancient scribe face to face in his own domain. Refusing to be erased from existence, she actively rewrites her own name back into the cosmic record with just sheer willpower. By doing this, she breaks the ancient cycle and becomes the first keeper in history to write her own fate. It's this incredibly empowering finale that ends with her defiant whisper, "I choose what comes next."
But remember that quote from the beginning? Endings are invitations?
Well, while the scribe was this cold, cosmic accountant desiring total erasure, Claudia's massive victory unwittingly invited a deeply personal, totally human threat into the fray. By rewiring the cosmic ledger to save herself, Claudia accidentally opened the door for an angry, mirrored reflection of herself, a new antagonist intimately tied to the very magic Claudia commands.
The Erased Keeper returns. Season 5 officially begins. Claudia discovers that rewiring the ledger resurrected the first Toll Keeper, the very one the scribe originally erased at the dawn of time, and the exact one Claudia unknowingly replaced. And let me tell you, she is not here to be a friendly mentor. She is here to forcefully reclaim her world, her stolen dawn, and her rightful legacy.
Which brings up a massive, reality-breaking question. What happens when two whole keepers exist at the exact same time? The unknown warns Claudia pretty early on that the universe simply cannot sustain this kind of paradox. And sure enough, the remnants begin to violently fracture under the impossible, crushing pressure of having two absolute anchors fighting for dominance in one single world.
Two keepers, one world. The devastating result of this paradox is an absolute geographical and emotional split. Queen's Village literally tears itself apart as the world struggles to hold two conflicting, absolute truths at the exact same time.
This sparks a rapidly escalating war between Claudia's reality and the Returned's reality. While Claudia is motivated by protecting the fragile future dawn, the Returned is fiercely driven to reclaim a stolen legacy. Claudia rallies her trusted circle, David, Lucy, Penny, and the Dawn children. But the Returned successfully rallies those who are desperately holding on to the erased past. Memory itself becomes a brutal battlefield here. It basically forces everyone in Queen's Village to choose a side, as the world physically and ideologically divides into two completely incompatible realities.
And the terrible stakes of this war? They're crystallized by a chilling prophecy from the Afterchildren. Only one keeper can survive the final horizon to anchor the world. Just one. There's no middle ground. There can be no compromise, no sharing of the burden. The universe strictly demands a single anchor.
The Final Dawn. In the quiet, deeply heartbreaking climax of the entire series, the world bends violently around them. The horizon opens for the final time, and both Claudia and the Returned step inside to settle the fate of the universe once and for all.
And finally, reality settles into a singular truth, but at a massive cost. Claudia makes a heart-wrenching ultimate sacrifice to secure her truth, forcing the cosmic ledger to permanently close its pages. In this beautiful, transcendent moment of resolution, the unknown, who, remember, has watched all of this unfold for eons, actually bows in profound respect. The remnants rise, and the world completely stabilizes. It's just a beautifully rendered sequence, concluding with David holding Claudia's hand and Penny standing firmly at her side, facing a brand new morning.
And it all culminates in these final, incredibly poignant words from Claudia as the horizon takes its first real breath: "Let the world live." This single phrase so perfectly encapsulates her incredible evolution. I mean, she went from being a terrified, hunted survivor in Season 1 to a burdened leader in Season 4 to ultimately becoming this selfless, compassionate shaper of reality in Season 5.
But I want to leave you all with this final, provocative thought today. If securing your world means erasing the legacy of another, what is the true cost of leadership? It's a lingering, haunting question about identity, about the fragility of memory, and the ultimate sacrifices we make for the people we fiercely love. Think about that as you process the incredible architecture of Queen's Village. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.